HOA President had my car towed from my own driveway at 3 a.m. to collect a $50 kickback, so I exposed his illegal racketeering scheme and sent him to prison for 3 years. I live in a gated community that used to be peaceful until a guy named Ken was elected HOA President. Ken was a failed business owner who treated the neighborhood like his personal kingdom. His first act as president was to fire our old security patrol and hire a new company called Viper Towing to enforce a zero-tolerance parking policy. Suddenly, neighbors were waking up to find their cars gone for ridiculous reasons. Tires touching the grass, inspection sticker one day expired, or parking too far from the curb. The retrieval fee was always $400, cash only. Last Tuesday, I woke up to get ready for work and my truck was gone. I checked my security camera. At 3:15 a.m., a Viper towing truck backed into my driveway, my private property, and hooked my truck. The driver didn't even check for a violation. He just grabbed it and ran. I stormed over to Ken's house. He was watering his lawn, smiling. I asked him where my truck was. He said, "Oh, I authorized that tow personally. You were parked in your driveway, but your rear bumper was overhanging the sidewalk by 2 inches. That's an ADA violation. Pay the fine." I told him, "Ken, the sidewalk ends at my property line. It doesn't even cross my driveway." He shrugged and said, "My ruling is final. Bring cash to the impound lot." I paid the $400 to get my truck back, but I kept the receipt. Then, I did some digging. I looked up the business registration for Viper Towing. It was registered to an LLC owned by Ken's brother-in-law. That was suspicious, but not illegal. However, what was illegal was the consulting fee I found in the HOA financial records. Ken was charging the towing company a monthly fee that exactly matched 10% of their revenue from our neighborhood. He was getting a kickback for every car he called in. I didn't go to the next board meeting alone. I went with a detective from the State Police Auto Theft Task Force. We sat in the back while Ken bragged about how parking compliance revenue was up 200%. Then the detective stood up. He walked to the front of the room and placed a warrant on the table. He said, "Kenneth Miller, you are under arrest for commercial bribery and operating a predatory towing ring." Ken laughed, thinking it was a joke, until the handcuffs clicked. It turns out, in our state, it is a felony for an HOA board member to receive financial compensation from a vendor they hire. It's called racketeering. The police raided the towing company's office and found a ledger listing payments to Ken totaling over $50,000. The judge wasn't lenient. Ken got 3 years in state prison. The towing company was shut down and their assets seized. The court ordered restitution, and last week, I received a check for my $400 plus interest. We voted to disband the HOA the following month.